The sheer majority of first-time equipment founders spend so much time thinking what is the legal structure they need in the beginning. And rightfully so, there are so many. Just check out the description below. You don't have to think about them, we will go through what serves 90% of people like you starting their equipment businesses. There are really only 3 choices. Let's dive in. Those 3 options are ZZP, frequently referred as a consultant or freelancer in the Netherlands, VOF, a general partnership, and a BV, private limited company. Let's have a look which one makes sense for you, why, and when. Before we dive into details, let's remove one important fear. This decision is not permanent. The decision allows you to start soon, start learning, making mistakes, pivot. The main risk is to not make decision, not to go simple but rather complex and then be tangled in that complexity later. It would serve you to start simple, fast, start learning, and move to different structure when it makes sense to your business. Let's start with ZZP, zelfstandig zonder personeel. Legally in the Netherlands it means that you and your business are the same entity. That means that you bear all the risks of your business personally. It also means you consume all the profits as an income. You will be taxed on income. That also is the simplest and fastest way to start business, start billing your customers and receive income. That also means that you make your own decisions in your business. You can start developing your prototype. You can even apply for subsidies. Not yet for investors though. For the first time early stage equipment companies, it means that you can start prototyping, talking to customers, perhaps already executing first projects and receiving letters of intent, preparing for your first seed rounds. There are 3 main characteristics we need to understand before making a decision to go for this legal structure. It is liability, taxation, and administration. Liability. You are and your business are the same legal entity, meaning that any damage caused by your business is considered damage caused by you personally. You're personally liable. You're personally responsible for any damage of your business. For example, if a prototype you have produced caused permanent damage to a person and the judge concludes that you have to pay 200,000 euros to that person, you have to procure funds yourself. Perhaps it will cost you your house. It doesn't mean that you cannot start with ZZP. You very well can. Perhaps you should change to a different structure before you start human trials though. Taxation. Something important to think about is that your income and your profit are the same. Any money you make with your business will be taxed as your personal income, just as if you're receiving salary. Something advantageous in the early stage could be MKB exemption, entrepreneur discounts, early stage business discounts. Administration. You are a business now and you have to keep your books. For 7 years as a matter of fact. Good news is that you can do it yourself, meaning very cheaply to compare to other structures. When does it make sense to start as they pay? If you don't yet have employees, you're in pre-revenue or very early stage revenue, and you're not yet considering investment rounds, your technical risk is still being explored. This is, for majority of early stage founders, the right choice, safest and fastest. Another type is VOF, Genootschap onder firma. It is essentially a partnership. It means that you and your partners are entrepreneurs and you together run the business. It is very similar to ZZP, with its sole difference that instead of one person, there are two or more partners. This structure also allows you to start invoicing your customers, talking to potential customers, starting prototyping, applying for subsidies, most importantly, and preparing for future growth and future investment rounds. To the outside world, it looks like one company, while internally there are several people that have to agree with each other, manage the company. That also means that you share responsibilities and liabilities. You're partially responsible for the entire company as your partners. VF is very similar to ZZP, with only difference that instead of one person, there are several people running business. They're still all personally liable. Even if your partner has caused damage, you are also liable for the total sum of the damage. Therefore, agreements really matter. Taxation-wise is also similar. All the profit is considered to be income and taxed as income, split per your agreement with your partner. Similarly, administration is rather simple. Accounting, it can be done by partners and has to be stored for 7 years as any other accounting done for self-employed person. And again, the greatest difference is that you're no longer alone in your business. Not only it means that another person or people influence decision in the company, profit, loss, liabilities, it also means that when another person exits business, they may be eligible to take part of it with them. It is important to make agreements upfront and on paper. Do make sure to go through profits, how the company is owned, who gets what part, who is paid in which way, and if there is any intellectual property, who owns it, and if they want to sell it to you, how much will it cost you. It makes sense to start with your hardware company partner, a VUF setup, if you really deeply trust them and risks are low or equally shared. Otherwise, you really have to think through legal agreements and put it on paper. Another frequently used legal setup is BV, besloten vennootschap, or private limited company. It is usually used when risks are high. It is its own legal entity and it exists separately from you as a person. With a BV, you can hire employees. It separates your risks from the company risks for majority of cases. You can apply for subsidies. As with previous setups, you also now are able to attract investors. Let's understand taxation, liability, and administration for BV in the Netherlands. Liability. For BV, your personal assets are protected and separate from the company, for most of the part. The primary risk is mismanagement. For example, if you announce bankruptcy and yet you bought yourself a new car, it will be considered mismanagement, and you will be held personally liable. Taxation. Taxation is different for BV. Now the company pays corporate tax on profit. It also has two stages, starting with a lower discounted tax rate and then going higher. Then you pay yourself salary, which may be not entire profit, but only a fraction of it. Your salary will be taxed as income. Be aware there is a legal minimal limit on the salary you pay yourself as a founder or a director. You are not obliged to pay entire profit to yourself as a salary. You can simply keep money as cash in your company assets. Administration. While you can save on taxes and limit your own risks, administration becomes more complex. You do require to start the company involving notary, not only registration Chamber of Commerce. You do require an accountant, even if they check and file your taxes and you do the actual administration yourself. The administration becomes more complex. If you hire people, there is also HR aspects and insurances involved with personnel. BV makes sense when the risks are too high. For example, people's lives are at stake or permanent damage can be caused. When you start making significant profit and you'd like to save or optimize corporate taxes and not pay significant income taxes. Another very important case is when you're preparing for investment rounds, you're preparing to grow and scale, and when you start hiring people. Starting with BV too soon may slow down your progress. Think carefully which construct suits you at which time, what allows you to move fast and safe. Let's see. There are three structures that suit 90% of hardware founders: ZZP, VOF, and BV. ZZP. One person founder, low risks, no high profits yet, you're still discovering the technology and its risks. VOF. Now you have two or more founders in similar situation. BV. High risks, ability to employ people, receive investment, higher profits, more complex administration. Check out the description below and see which one suits you now. I want you to do one more thing. Sit and think, what are the risks you will be encountering in the next 6 to 12 months? What are your plans for growing your company? Your prototype, what stage it is now? Is it idea? Do you have something working? Are you going to build? Are you planning to employ people, freelancers maybe, or perhaps a student to do your administration? What does it mean for you as a company? Think, when would it be right moment to start with which legal structure? And if you want a second opinion, hop into the school community and bounce your ideas.